some dynamic movement. So right now we're chewing through Quentin's wallet here. I would put money on it. There's a concern for this tree.
These guys, we're doing a car park shade sail clearance, so these guys are looking to get some of these lower limbs removed. And Jack, I've got a question for you. How do you know what limbs
How do you know what limbs?
to prune?
Well, if they're going to put a shade sail up, then it's going to be a shade sail before it's an arboretum.
Yeah.
Because they're not protected trees. We're not going to remove them. So if a branch has got to go and it doesn't affect the tree arboriculturally too much, then we'll get rid of it. So I don't know where the poles are going to go. Are the poles going to go there or
Yeah.
in here? In here?
More on the grass, yeah.
So you got to find out where the edge of the roof's going to go. Is it going to be 2 feet in? Is it going to be
In.
that? So
Yeah.
find out, and then you can look up here and see like how high is it going to go? Is it going to go 2 meters high, 3 meters high? So does this large limb here need to come off? Because this large limb is, 4 meters high, 500 mil in. So find out what our corridor is, what our clearance is before we make the call. So we're just looking at some of these trees around here. You can probably see them. The species, tree ID is not my super strong point, but I would believe in this area they would be. So these are not the which are eucalyptus. These are the. So these are eucalyptus. Correct me if I'm wrong. So just looking at these canopies here, you can see like this one behind me. It's very thick kind of canopy, nice and kind of robust structure about it, evenly balanced. This one over here also nice kind of thick canopy on it, not much reaction growth. And these ones down here all have kind of a similar canopy. But then we go around to this one. So this one in particular, you can see in the tree, it's got a lot of reaction growth. So what I'm looking at particularly here is, say, this stuff. So these little epis that are coming off the branch, they're actually all through the tree. So the tree itself is reacting. It's needing to get more light. It's struggling. It's going, geez, I've got to put out some more little shoots and photosynthesize and get some sugars flowing and whatnot. So what immediately brought my attention to it was the sparseness of the canopy compared to the other ones. So it's a bit thinner to look at. There's still plenty of leaves up there, but a lot of those leaves are not like this one out on the canopy. A lot of them are internal, and the outer canopy's kind of got less leaves, so it's a bit of a softer look to the tree, which means it's under some kind of stress. It's put on reaction growth, and I would put money on it. Nothing's happened underground here that's different. I can't see anything. There's a bit of dead soil, so the soil is probably fairly, not much oxygen in it. So I'd take a guess at it. It's had a few limbs removed. I'd say give it another couple of years and it'll die. That was good content too. Yeah. It is dying off. Sorry, mate. Oh, jeez. Classic. Wasn't recording any of that. I just went around and talked about things. I'll just go and show you the cut that I did. I would like people to discuss this. So what I talked about was the chainsaw I wanted to test out to see if the bench grinding sharpening was any good, and it wasn't bad. There's a few problems here, probably with me holding it. I did stop so I could talk about it. But this cut here, I want to have a discussion. It's very hard, I know, without having the branch there, but tell me what you think of that. Because this previous cut here, you can see the old wounds here, and you can see the occlusion or the callus forming around it. And you can see that the cut was probably too far out, because this here is where the cut
is, and this is where it started callousing from. And it's all under the bark, and it's been, by looking at this cut, it's a few years, I'd say. This one hasn't, this one was probably not close enough because of the thick bark and the nature of these trees. So I'd say it's sealing up, but not great. And I can see this, I tore a bit of bark off and it's dead all the way down with ants in it, so this is an issue. So we'll take this limb off now, which is a concern for this tree because the branch is dying, there's ants in it, it's dying. But if we take that branch off, we then have to make a giant wound on the tree, and the tree itself is already in decline. So we've already looked at that. Pretty sure I was recording that. Yeah, so looking at those wounds there and how they've sealed up. So looking at this tree, this is a tree with a much healthier canopy, and you can actually see the tawny frogmouth bird up there. They're really well camouflaged. They're beautiful birds. Oh, there it goes. It's flying back to its tree, and its partner's probably up there now. When we dropped the branch, I didn't even see it. They're very well camouflaged. I'll go over and have a look at it in a minute. But you can see this tree's reacting quite well. You can see it's callousing and sealing up much more vigorously than this one over here. This one's a lot more sparse with the foliage, and this one's a lot more healthy. So I'd say this one has probably been through the similar stress that the other one went through, because it's got a lot of epis internally, a lot of reaction growth, but it's got a lot of them that have actually died off, and some of them are flourishing. So I'd say this one's gone through the same stress but has recovered far better. Oh my God. Have we got time for this? All right. Oh my God, that's tight. Is it recording? Is it flashing?
Yeah.
So I guarantee you this tree is going to get removed, because look here, we've got these fungal brackets, these fruiting bodies of Phalaenus robusta, correct me if I'm wrong, but that eats live wood. So essentially that means that internally that fungus is eating away at this tree. So that concerns me, because it's right at a main crutch of these two heavy branches and the main stem, and it comes down here, and the fungus is probably right down in here. It's quite fat, this tree, for the size of the foliage and canopy. So I'd say it's probably got a lot of fungus and it's trying to grow around it and build reaction wood. And this has got another big fault here. And if you notice at the top, this leader here has a lot of dieback, a lot of branches dying back, which means it's in poor health. There's some dead branches up here, and there's this cable system, this bracing system that I'm not familiar with, but you can see at both ends it's constricting around the cambium. So that means it's extremely tight. And you don't generally want these systems to be tight. You want some dynamic movement so the tree can build reaction wood and grow over time. If you have them tight, they don't build reaction wood, and what happens is as soon as that cable break, or that bracing system has a fault in it and breaks, the whole tree is most likely going to fail because it's relying on that. So that's something you don't want to do generally with bracing, depending on the bracing of course, but this kind of high up bracing like this, you want it to be a bit more dynamic. So I would say 100% they'll mark this one for removal, considering the factors: high target area, car park, branch, leader dying back, off-weighted tree. It's weighted out that side quite badly. Huge bracket fungi of Phalaenus robusta down at a crucial structural point. I would say it's marked for removal. So you can see this tree is growing around its old wounds really well. You can see it's calloused over and sealed up. I would say, at a guess, that most of this car park got pruned at the same time, and the tree at the end there that's not in good nick is not sealing over. So you can tell a tree's kind of health by how it seals up and calluses over these old wounds. This one's done a really good job. I was actually bracing in this one too. And again, that bracing's tight to hold this branch up. There's bracing in that one. Someone's done bracing in all these trees, and it definitely needs to be inspected, because I think the arborist will come along and say that they're too tight and they need to probably remove the tree, because you can't just go in then and put some dynamic bracing in, because the tree branch will most likely fail. So it'll be interesting to see what this report says. You see the bracing in all these trees? All right, well, definitely better do my cuts good now, because the Cert 5 arborist is going to come along and inspect them.